Shenandoah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Mark Perreault. I'm President of Citizens for Monroe National Park. We're both very distressed and very heartened by what we've heard today. Very distressed to hear that the National Park Service is at least tentatively backing away from a commitment they made in 2016 to take on these 40 or so acres with 7 little buildings on them to unify the National Monument. At the same time, we're very heartened by the comments of the Chairman, Mr. Jarvis, the City of Hampton, and the Secretary of Natural Resources, and all of you by your resolution. Success at Fort Monroe has always taken patience and persistence and keeping your eye on the big vision, and this is apparently no exception. I somewhat sympathize for Mr. Smith. I know he works in a large bureaucracy with lots of bosses, and it's a difficult time. But I hope he will reconsider this and take that message to his superiors in a very strong way. Mr. Jarvis said it much better than I can, but obviously the costs involved here for the National Park Service are de minimis in the big frame of things. And what Virginia has done here in taking responsibility for not a state asset, but a national and international asset, deserves respect from Washington. This is a tremendous thing that has been done here, and I think, Mr. Director, you heard in the deliberations today the amount of money, the amount of effort, and the amount of risk the Commonwealth is taking. The National Park Service and the federal government have to be a real partner, and not just a token partner. The state has done its part. It's time for the federal government to do its part, and I plead with you and your superiors to see that. This place is a place that unifies Americans. This place tells stories to all sorts of Americans, diverse Americans, and it needs to be taken care of properly for the long term, and there's a role for the National Park Service as well as the state, and the state is doing its part. I urge you to do your part. This is not a big deal to take 40 acres and 7 buildings, which the state will, as I understand it, manage for their useful life with no cost to you, and they need to be torn down at the end of their useful life. There may be a little expense there. The federal government, hopefully 25 years from now, will be able to find money to do that, either itself or in partnerships with the state and private citizens, to make that unification that Mr. Jarvis spoke of as so important. And we all know an easement, as the chairman said, is not equivalent to fee simple ownership. What would Shenandoah National Park be like today if Presidents Hoover and Roosevelt said, we appreciate the $200,000 donation by the state of Virginia, but we're not going to take it. We're just going to take a conservation easement over that 200,000 acres. It would not be the great national park it is today if that had been the reaction at that time. And we were not rich in 1929 and 1930 either as a country. So I'll sit down. Thank you very much.
Thank you.